All right, we're going to bring this meeting to order. Yes. I'm the chairman.
He is the
I'm
chairman.
starting the meeting.
He's the
7
chairman.
o'clock. I'm Mike Anderson, chair. We have Dan Smith, vice chair. Carl Johnston, Gary Nino, Amy Friend, Winona Verdine, sorry. And Lou Gendrell. It's been so long, Winona. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As far as I know. All right, next item is public comments. Anybody online want to comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to review Board of Ed financials. Eight 14. Yes. And we can do this, I apologize that we don't have someone from the Board of Ed here. I didn't really put in a request for that. 'Cause I thought we were going to get eventually the audited numbers for last fiscal year.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were looking for, was pencil down numbers from the town and the schools. So
Right.
we knew exactly what was in the town's undesignated fund.
Yeah, which we usually receive by now.
So
Am I reading this right, that they have only $34,000 of left in their undesignated fund? Or risk account? Uncommitted, yeah.
So the actuals are,
So there's two files. One is a July file,
Yeah.
which is just the month of July for the July 25 to July of 26 budget year, the way I'm
Right.
reading this. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And then the second file is the non-lapsing account.
Correct. And I know that, I mean, from past meetings, they were gonna spend down that risk account.
Yeah, but I also know that they were also talking about doing an appropriation because they were going to possibly be over on special education, so. I know that they kind of tamped that down a little bit for the discussion because, you know, we're going like 28 days into the fiscal year for them, but. You know, it's pretty aggressive burn that early in the year. I know that they're in control of their own fate, but however, you know. At budget season, I don't wanna hear, we don't have money to do this, we don't have money to do that, no. You burn the money pretty quick, especially right after the budget.
Yeah, and I didn't think we were allowed to do staff out of this particular fund, and yet there's a line in 106 and labeled teachers for 40,000. Which we know whenever I see a lot of zeros, I drill right in.
Oh, so we talked about this at the end of the year, that they put the cost of the contract negotiations into this.
Okay.
If you're,
That's what
Some-
it is on the left line, right
yeah,
after
somewhere
106.
we talked about the costs
Yeah.
of the contract negotiations got moved into this at the end of budget season.
Which is kind of a smart move because they stripped that out, so it's not
So we
artificially
don't carry it
inflated.
in the budget. Yep,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
fair enough. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then what's the next line under for 25?
that's the scoreboard, so that if you, column B is actually the description.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
So there's,
On the Smaller screen.
yeah, so there's a couple of things. So if we're gonna focus on this non-lapsing account file for a couple of minutes, it would be helpful to have some dates in here. There is a column for invoice date that seems to be blank. There's an approved date under column G for a couple of the newer items, but it's not populated for most of these. This is just a poorly formatted report that I think they could do better on. I would like to see that going forward.
You know what we'll end up getting for an answer? We don't have to provide it.
It's probably true, but it's worth asking.
well, I think the plan that, at this point would be, as soon as we have end of the year numbers, we'll have Board of Ed Chair and Troy in to, and probably Kathy come in to be able to guide us through these numbers a little bit.
Do we know when those will be reconciled?
Hmm?
Do we know when that will happen?
I thought it was imminent.
So after having this discussion the last time we were talking numbers, the Board of Ed issues a budget and then passes a budget to us. Troy executes that budget. Same thing with Kathy throughout the year. If we need to ask numbers, really, it's the superintendent and Kathy that should answer. those
That's why
numbers.
I wanted them,
Really, the chair, yeah, but the chair, I guess, could be speaking to it, but it really needs to be the people operating the yearly budget for that.
sure, but then, I mean, the non-lapsing account would be more of a Board of Ed issue too. They make the decision on that. So my suggestion would be just table this for now.
Yeah, I agree.
It's-
Nothing for us to do, really.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah. I think it was a bit of a misfire. It wasn't what we were looking for. We were looking for pencils down, year-end numbers, so we know what the town's undesignated fund looks like. End of story. We kept hearing the school's numbers weren't final, the school's numbers weren't final. We were looking for a final set of numbers, not just the school's ERISA account. We just need to know the dust is settled, everything's been reconciled, we're good to go.
So do you need a motion?
No.
Excuse me, Mike,
Yep.
can you hear me? Oh, I just wanted to comment as far as the Board of Ed reconciliation. Kathy is just finalizing some grant numbers, and I expect to hear back from her in a couple of days. And then that will be pencils down.
Okay. Thank you, Sue. We'll come back on the 17th with the same issue, and if it's not ready yet, then, you know,
We need a closure date. That's, if they're not ready by that date, we need to know, when are you going to be ready?
And on the July report, the grant section was not included.
correct.
So can we ask that that be included going forward?
Yes, I can talk to Kathy about that, make sure it's on there.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay, that's tabled to next meeting on the 17th. About Board of Selectmen, next item, are you guys reconciled yet? I thought. Yep. Yeah, do you know when that email went out? We have the capital plan one.
We don't have that one. We got 714. Ah,
Yeah, I don't have that one. I don't either.
ah. Questions? Fair enough.
Okay. Oh, I got it. Okay.
It's the one they delved into the excavator on.
Bob, you want to take us through this P&L, please? Bad back and all.
So basically, Mike, it's the same P and L that we went through last time I was here with us, just some minor tweaking. I think we talked about that there was a large number that had to come down because she took out what was earmarked for the undesignated fund that was still in here. That was a double dip, was in the undesignated fund in here, so that came out. If you look at the net, I think now it's $555,000 unaudited. But if she's as close as she was last year when she was just starting, I'm pretty comfortable that that's a pretty close number. That might move a hair when she gets finally recognized with the Board of Education, which, as Suzanne said, should be, Melissa's on vacation this week. She'll be back on Monday. We should be reconciled by hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday. And again, Kathy was just going through some grants. So 555 is the number. And if you look at the second attachment, which is the undesignated fund attachment, it is also on there on the last line as potential net income for that fiscal year. There's only, I think I mentioned the last time I was here, there was 2 small appropriations, one as a result of movement on the accounting generalist line, which will be for around $4,000, and one for under $1,000 on the assessor line. And I will come into the Board of Finance on those appropriations sometime in the near future, after the audit. But I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have on the P&L or the undesignated fund. Gary, to answer one of your questions on your email on Saturday evening at 8 o'clock. The exact number for the excavator was 127.2. And that number will, the balance, which is $2,800, will go back in the undesignated fund when Melissa gets back.
Yeah, and sorry, this is nitpicking, but we should be able to end the year, know where we landed. No more, this is coming back, that's coming back. We should step off knowing what the undesignated fund is at. I only picked that one because it had a lot of zeros. It was an easy target. But, which is the same reason I would like to have final numbers from the school, because so we as a board made a commitment to figure out what to do with the overage in the undesignated fund before we enter the budget cycle. And we committed to work through the summer if we had to get this done. And here we are post Labor Day, and it's not done yet. So we need to get this
I
done.
think you've got a really close number. We can't say the 555 number is exact because we haven't been audited yet, but we know it's close. We know we can deobligate $200,000 to the irrigation project. We don't have to appropriate anything for the 2025 grants yet, steep grants, because I have 4 years to do those projects. So I think the number's pretty close where we are now.
Okay.
I say plus or minus $20,000 anyway.
It's,
And you have that, I think, right? You sent that to me?
sorry, I'm getting obviously frustrated over the fact that we continue to have these conversations and we continue to get, not yet. We got a few more numbers to figure out. I mean, we're 20% into the
So I don't
next
think that's
fiscal
come
year
from
without-
my end that much, because I think that Melissa and
No,
Susan
I'm saying
talk.
this collectively as a whole, the town, which includes the school.
Mm,
We should be better at knowing where we ended the year before we step off into the new year.
Agreed.
Okay,
And I
that's all.
think that, come to mid-August, which is 6 weeks after the year closed, we were pretty strong on what our numbers were, and we still are.
Yep.
I can't imagine they're gonna be much different when we get the audit.
Agreed.
There's a
When you
tri-
say without grant earmarks, what does that exactly mean?
So if, when we looked at the undesignated fund, last time, and I had put in what the grant appropriation might be for the 2025 steep grant. So she's showing it with it in and with it out. On that last line, it's putting the 200,000 for the, if we deobligate the money that you guys earmarked for the irrigation system at 200,000, if that went back in and we took the 779 out, because I'm not asking for that money anytime soon, that would be your new number of 17.5% or 4,236,007.
I saw a number of 19.1, I thought.
The 19.89,
Yes,
that you see that up above.
That's 26 without grant.
yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And that's kind of what I was drilling in on. What
that- but also-
what earmarks do we have that are
So
real?
that includes the 555 unaudited number too. So when you took the 555 on top of the 4,000,002, now you're up to that 19.89%. And I think you'd be safe using that number because again, we're going to be pretty close to that number. And we talked about before is, do you have to get down to 17 or can you be comfortable at 15.5?
Right.
It's your board decide how far you want to go and what you want to do.
And that's, we touched on that subject at the last meeting and agreed at this meeting, we would try to come to a final decision on that. You know, based on the level of softness and how money seems to come in back to us when we least expect it, my gut says go to the 15 because it's going to reload for a couple reasons next year anyway. The revaluation, we're getting into the next topic. Can we just roll to the next topic?
Yeah, it's part of the,
I'm
we
here.
can include, yeah, it's undesignated fund discussions,
Yeah.
part of this discussion.
If we take our towns undesignated and take it down to 15.5, which is 2% lower than the cap. And, you know, there's no way to directly get that back to the taxpayer. But if we were able to take that overage and say, we're going to pay off some outstanding capital installments that you have. So your capital plan for the next fiscal year comes down that much money. Theoretically, it provides that downward pressure on the mill rate for the townspeople. It'll get rolled in. If we don't, and we let this roll into the normal budget process and try to filter it out after the budgets are built and the assessments come in, I think it's going to get lost in the sauce. And I'm worried about that.
I think the big task that your board will have next year is we can give you a budget to say, this is what we need to run the town. We've been pretty fiscally responsible the last 4 years.
Yep.
And whatever that number is, and say, like, I'll take my residence, for example, I pay around $8,000 in taxes. On the reval, I might have to go to 11,000. I don't think we can expect anyone in town to have that kind of a tax increase. So you'll have to decide, what does the town need to run the town? And what kind of a mill rate reduction can we have? Do we go from 28.88 down to set 19.75? What's that number to run the town effectively and not kill all the taxpayers with this reval, which you know is going to go up?
Yeah, but it's a much clearer, cleaner decision process if we handle this like we laid out, handle the capital process in front. So you're going into it knowing that your capital number is low for that year.
So watching your meetings, I've seen that it seems like the question is, do you do short-term capital or long-term capital? You know where I stand on that one. That's not my
Yeah,
decision.
no. That's first we got to decide, in my opinion, and I'm waiting for others to jump in here, what the right level we should take the undesignated to, and then where to apply it.
Well, we don't have any methodology to say that this is a number that we're comfortable. We have an upper and a lower, but we don't have anything that says this is the number or the range that we can comfortably work within. I don't know any methodology that we've put in place to kind of work with that. So it's more of a gut feeling that 15 feels all right, 14 feels okay. It's a pretty good cushion. And our auditors told us that we were in pretty good shape that way. There may be a town or two that has more than that, but there are quite a few towns that have substantially less. So I don't think we need to get very scientific about looking at the methodology to come up with what we have. I mean, how did we come up with 17? It just, well, felt good. Yeah, the author over there.
We looked at a bunch of towns.
There you go.
Towns similar size, non-charter towns that have similar demographics. And that's what we came up with was 8.5 to 17. I think one town had 19 for some reason, but that was the range that's the range that we worked in.
And my guess is that's by history, what the auditors like to see, what the bond writers like to see, some sort of a range of protection.
Yeah, when I first came on the board, the bond rating was a very important thing based on you have to have a certain, as much money as you can have in that account, up to 17%, the better the bond rating you got, the better the rate you got, and it showed fiscal responsibility, long-term and short-term, that you can pay your bills and that you have no problems.
And then use a calculation too of what it would cost to run the town for, say, 2 months or 3 months,
Yeah,
whatever
it
number
was-
you
It
used.
was, the 8.5 was kind of like a boilerplate across the board where people, those towns used as a 2 months of expenditures on average. And that's what they based it off of.
Like, so at the time, I think our budget, budget was around 24 million, which is average 2 million a month. Hence, $4 million would run the town for 2 months. Just simple math.
Yeah.
If you just had to
course.
burn it all.
Right.
But different times in the year,
You might be in a position.
sometimes it takes us $3,000 for the month, other times it's $1 million for the month, because it depends on what
Timing.
part of the year it is too.
And that's when we asked Suzanne, it's like, all right, what is our worst months and what is our best months?
Mhm.
And really, it's August was one of the.
I'd say
one of
the
the
worst month is probably June, because we do a
June.
large payout to the Board of Education
Yeah.
before the school year ends, and because we pay for the summer. And it's also the month before taxes start really coming in.
Yeah.
So we drain down the general fund somewhat. Just a guess.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So Bob, on this undesignated fund, the 15% part, you have a number of 1,184,117.85. Is that based upon where we are with the,
I
with the
believe
four,
that's-
4,815,000?
No, that 15%, I believe, is with the appropriation of 779 and without the de-obligation of 200,000.
Okay.
But you don't mind if I cleaned up this undesignated fund and got some of the things like the ladder truck off here and some of the stuff that was done 2 years ago, and just kind of started it over again with maybe 24 and 25. I got rid of some of the older stuff.
I don't
Or do you
mind.
want to keep it on there for a while?
Yeah, I don't mind it being on there. It's kind of a running record of it. I just want to make sure, because what I have is like, if you take that $4,236,007.96, and then we're trying to get to I'm looking at D. $45. Yeah, 4,236,0796. If you were trying to get to 3,631,1085, which is the 15%, I have it at 605,997.11, just doing hand math. Yeah, 604,000, sorry, 997.11.
So actually, that's the number for 3 steep grants minus a de-obligation of 200,000 for the irrigation, which is a 2023 steep grant. The 779 we haven't asked for yet, which is a 225 steep grant.
I just want to know if what is the actual number that we're talking about reducing the undesignated fund to get down to 15%?
I think you hit the number with 604, I think is the number.
Yeah, 604,997.11, is that correct?
That's with. Or if we're doing this and we're kind of using some general numbers on order to, instead of getting down to the penny, can we just start using 600 or maybe to be
How about we
all the
use-
more cautious, maybe 500?
How about you use the percentage of the undesignated fund with the grants held apart? And just say we're gonna reduce it from where it is today to whatever percent we want to go to, 15%, like 16, 14, whatever. And then, then we have to talk about the money that we're gonna reduce it, how Bob applies it.
Right.
Well, I can't come up with a number unless we've got a pencils down number.
But that's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. I mean, because this is why we say, okay, we've been trying to get this done. I say,
We're not
We're
gonna
in a
have
s-
that, excuse me, Lou. I don't, we're not, until we have the audit,
Mhm.
which is gonna be
months,
months from now.
I agree.
So Bob's number is solid. I don't think we're gonna, I don't think we're gonna see anything coming back into the general fund, the undesignated fund from the Board of Education. If
Okay,
anything,
so
they
we-
might
so
add,
we call it 605.
yeah,
Just round it up $3.
it's 6:05.
Okay,
I like that. I like
good.
that.
All right.
Does that sound right to you, Bob?
Just 500 or 6, I mean, we're talking general, I mean, okay, there we go.
Because when he actually takes the money, really, it's down the line.
There's always interest. No, that's just a joke.
I'm
So,
trying to
I-
understand something here, using dollars. Right now, we run the town on $12. The mill rate is at 4 to cover that $12. Am I correct?
No,
It's just a theory. Just use easy, simple numbers. Cost us $12 to run the town.
$12.
All right, wait a minute. Just follow what I'm saying.
Use it this way. The town budget's $24 million.
Right.
And the mill rate is what?
20, yeah, but all the numbers are gonna be getting goofed up here in a minute. So go ahead, 24 million to run the town. We tax them at a mill rate to get that money. Okay. If the values of the houses double, right, at that mill rate would be way up there. So if the house is doubled, we can cut that mill rate in half to match it the same, so we're still running.
We should.
So anything in this account that we're working on right now would help us as far as taking money away from some of the payments to keep everything even.
So whatever, go ahead.
Which kind of gets to what I said last month about, I understand that the desire to resolve this. But given the reevaluation, it'd be smarter for us to wait until that clears. But if we don't want to wait that long.
I don't think we should wait that long. I think we ought to take care of it now and worry about what we got to pay for after the evaluation, because we've got to reduce it to keep everybody paying this, almost the same amount for their houses.
Well, I think you gotta watch out what you're saying when you're reducing it.
Well,
It's
I mean-
adjusted the mill rate.
Adjusting the mill rate to match what we need
Yeah.
to run the town.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you collect more, you lower the mill rate based off of that. It's,
Right.
your mill rate's here. Now, instead of collecting this much, you collect this much, you lower the mill rate to flat.
Flatten it out.
That's how we came out of COVID. When we
Ahead.
had that revenue shortfall, we adjusted to bake the money that we lost on the revenue side.
Up here, and then added a little bit to
And
the
we added a
mill
little bit to close
to
that
cover the
number.
backs. Yeah.
That's how we did that. So, but we won't know that until much,
March or April.
much later down the road, and then we won't make a decision on it until we actually set the mill rate.
Okay, sorry.
Is this the time when we would ask the Board of Selectmen to recommend what we should do?
I
with
have
the
another
500?
wrinkle too,
You have
You know what?
another what?
another wrinkle.
Let Lou finish his wrinkle.
No, yeah, no, that was a question. I mean, by way of procedure, is this something that, and Bob shaking his head, no. Well, it is and it isn't, because I'm looking at this in maybe a little bit slightly different way than some others, as far as what to do with that $500,000,
So,
600,000.
so
Keep taking it back. But I'd rather hear Mike's wrinkle before we go.
okay, we'll hold that for Mike's wrinkle.
I'm just looking back at our budget presentation from last year, and we earmarked 128,000 and change from undesignated funds to cover expenditures. So
I think it's captured in the softness of the numbers that we have. I'm not worried about that.
It's in there.
it's in there.
Yeah, that number's already been captured in there.
Okay.
Which,
I just want to make sure that wrinkle's ironed
And
out.
regardless, I mean, we're not, in my opinion, based on the performance of the undesignated fund and what's come back to us year over year in my short tenure on this board, we're not cutting it so deep that we're setting ourselves up for black eye, in my mind.
I would say that even that $100,000 for what Sean's been making off of the CDs for the town on the undesignated fund and everything else, it's a wash.
Okay, yeah, 5/21, 2025, 128, 679. It's in there.
What? What they're looking at? It's a string where I was giving Bob a hard time about the excavator.
Sue, are you
Yeah, I know
still
that, and I
online?
can't find it.
Is Sue online?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Sue, I just have a question on the percentages at the bottom of the spreadsheet.
Sure.
Okay, so in column C, so it would be C35, C41, and C47. Can you just explain the formulas used on that? Because the formulas all seem to be the same, but with different numbers in the box.
All right, so I don't have the line numbers in front of me. Are you talking about the de-obligation of the 200,000, the 779? Can you give me some numbers so I can follow you?
19.89% with current level earmarks, current level 15%, current level 17.5%. I'm just wondering where, so each formula, one says D30 divided by the same number, and I'm just trying to understand the formula. Like how it's connected to anything.
It should all be pointed to the first dollar. That's why it's one number.
Is it pointed to what column?
It's a percentage of the total expenditures of the town, right? So the percentage comes from.
Yeah, so the 1989 is without the grant earmarks. As far as,
What percent, that's the percentage we would be at without those.
Amy, can I? answer this?
correct.
Sorry, so I'll just jump in because I have it in front of me. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it's the, without the earmarks, what percentage of the total budget, you know, the $25 million budget we have, what percentage does that, the balance in the undesignated fund represent? So if we, without the earmarks, we have 19.89% of the budget at, what was that, at 4,815,000. If we want to go down to 15%, that's the number we would need, 3631. And at 17.50% would give us 4,236,007.
That's
So-
correct, Bob. Thank you.
If everything is a percentage of the budget that we're living in now, when we approved.
Okay, so those are different scenarios.
Yes,
They don't pertain to anything.
no. I think Melissa just wanted to show you if we went to 15%, what the number would look like.
Right.
Yeah, I think that bottom one, the
Thank you,
the 17.5% is the number that we're working with right now, which is the 4,236,796.
This might not be a fair question, but we talked about how some months are worse than others as far as cash flow goes. And how low has our bank account dropped to in the recent past?
You know, I don't have that in front of me, Lou, but I did give that to Sean. So when he was investing in the short-term investment funds, the CDs, he could gauge what months, how much of cash flow we had each month. And I can send that to the board so you can see what I sent to him and what was our low months and our high months.
One thing to remember too, and Suzanne, sorry to cut in, but don't confuse the general fund with the undesignated fund. The general fund is a fund that could have as much as, if we didn't spend anything, $25 million in it, because that's all our money. We operate on $3 million on a regular basis. It's in like this slush fund that everything comes out of. When that drops down, Sean then moves money from the general fund into that $3 million fund. When it's not in the $3 million fund, it's collecting interest. Because we've had it set up in a special account to get more than the typical 0.25 interest or whatever the savings account interest would be.
Okay, so, good. To be clear then, we've never been in a position
We're never
where
close to. running
we've
out of
ever
money.
come close to having to dip into our unallocated fund to cover a checkbook.
We never have. And now they.
Right.
It's in the general fund.
I know, but we're talking about letting it go down, and then I just want to make sure that we haven't, we have taken into consideration the differences in cash flow. That's all.
I think the only time the undesignated fund has gotten so dangerously low is back when they had the bridge issue. That's, ever since that day. we've never-
And back then it was a much lower percentage.
I don't think there was any
Any-
change. I think it
right.
was just, hey, we have some money in this account, and that's how they ran it.
And that's why it took the bridge 3 years to get fixed, because we had to wait for FEMA to bring us the money, because we didn't have it.
We couldn't cover that, $700,000,
Whatever it was.
whatever the amount was, we couldn't even come close to that.
But so I think that if you think of the undesignated fund as almost like extra, it's a buffer to keep in there. It's not designated for anything. So if it's 25 million minus 4 million, we have 21 million that's always operating and moving around.
Okay.
And
So-
taxes come in twice a year, so we're obviously more cash rich in January, February, and July, August, because that's when the taxes are coming in.
Mhm.
So I think the last month before taxes start coming in is your 2 months, so maybe June and December might be your lower months, but never in fear of running out of money.
Good. That was my question. That
Okay.
we never reached that level that we would have said, maybe we really do need $4 million.
See me packing
because
my
of that.
bags and heading to the hills, then you know we got a problem.
Good. That's good.
Bob, don't run away yet. So you mentioned something earlier about this, the steep 2025 grant and when you might need allocation for that, and when may that be?
So I just put together a sheet today for our tri-board meeting on Monday. Meeting with Alan and Phil to go through, so the Board of Selectmen and the Highway Department determine what projects have to happen when. And when, if he says, well, I'd really like to get the money for the pads for the transfer station, which is the lowest of the three, I'd like to do that while we're still in good weather, Bob. Then I would come to you and say, hey, can we get an appropriation of getting an appropriation of $96,000, which is a small portion of that 779, because we want to do that now. But we're not even going to consider this room or the parking lots or the roads until the spring. Then when you say, let's do the roads in the spring, well, let's next fall talk about this room. So the lesson I think I learned was why hit up the Board of Finance in the town for the whole piece if we're not going to do it right away. I mean, we still have 2 parts of 223 that we just didn't send that for our RFPs out for roof, but we are going to for roof and HVAC. And when we get those done, then 2023 will be done, since we've taken irrigation off the table. But I don't think we should plan on appropriating money well in advance until we, as I mentioned to Gary, let us come to you with a plan. That's going to engineering, quotes. This is when it's going to start, and then start it, finish it, and get reimbursed for it. I mean, these are great opportunities for the town to get 80% reimbursement, but I think we've kind of done it kind of a slipshod kind of way, and I think it needs to tighten up quite a bit. And I think that's what we learned from 2023.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So then, looking at these numbers again, it looks like we have to get us back to a 15% cap, like $1 million. Is that? That's if we deobligate, that's if we take off this entire 779, which Bob just said he didn't think we should do. Yeah.
We're not going to decide on the 15% from the the 19.89%, we're gonna look at it from the 7.5%,
Why
is what
not?
we've been doing.
I'm sorry, Mike. Apologize. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm done.
I was just asking why not, how'd you come up with a million? Because if I look at the
This-
4,236,000, which is what we did with the obligating 200 and taking the 779 out, and looking at the 15%, which is 3,631,000, difference between those two, I think it's the 600,000 that Mike was talking about. I don't know where the million came from.
I think she's talking about if you started off at that 4.815 million,
Yeah. I mean, that's,
then
this,
it's 1.184 million.
so if you start at the 4.8 number and you take 15% of the 24.2 million. This is why this walk is so hard. This is why this is the struggle here, right? So 15% of 24.2 million. 24.2 million is our budget, right? Isn't that that's our benchmark? So 15% of 24.2 million is $3.63 million. 4.8 minus 3.6. So look, I could be wrong here. I'm trying to do the walk because there's like a whole lot of stuff happening at the bottom of the spreadsheet that's not really hanging together for me. So if you add back in the $200,000 for the deobligation of the irrigation project, and I just simply took the 779 and cut it almost in half because Bob just said, why would we deobligate the full 779 if we're not thinking we're going to spend it all at once? I'm at $1 million. I don't know, Lou,
No,
you
I
can just
follow
wing
your
it and
numbers.
spitball. Hey, I can get to 1.4 million
No,
actually
no,
pretty
I
easily.
follow your
so-
numbers completely. I was basing the 600,000 on the expectation of getting to the 15%, given the numbers above, but I mean, maybe this just speaks to, we need to come up with a different way of
This is-
reflecting.
This is Gary's point. It's September 3rd.
No,
and
no,
we
no,
don't even
no, the
have an
mechanism,
idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
whether this whole presentation is the correct one, that if we should be looking at things in a different format, so we don't get confused by the numbers like this. You know, at the end of the day, what is our undesignated fund number? Just what do we got? And
Somebody
we
unplugged
got three
Gary's
different
mic
numbers here.
fast,
So,
If
fast.
you ask me, we're at 19, whether people want to admit it or not.
well.
But if the
yeah,
number is, if the number is shown that high because of uncertainty, and we don't know, then that's the number we should be using, because we have no business having 19% when our process says 17%, and we don't know where we are.
And if you
We
do
just take the
rounding,
cut.
it's 20.
Yeah.
We're at 19.9. I mean,
Yep.
that's, and this is, I feel for Gary because we've been talking about this all year and here we go again. And now we can't do anything until May.
No,
So-
no one's
Don't
saying
say
that. No one's saying that.
We can't change the mill rate. We already said that.
No, but there's
We
a
can't do it.
there's a mechanism where we could take the money, in my mind, take the money, put it towards 2025, 2026 capital plan. Is that correct? Or do I have my years wrong?
No, 26.
26, 27 capital plan. Hold Bob's or the town's capital plan number where it is less what we take out of the undesignated and put against it. And that's the way we depress the mill rate without having to wait for the budget process to be complete.
Okay, so let's.
If
start
we,
working
if we
on it.
wait for the budget process to be complete, I'm concerned we are going to get,
Yeah, we would have to encumber that money.
Right.
We have to encumber the money and saying, Bob, your capital will be discounted by this much. Yeah,
Can we do that? Can we obligate, say we do with the 600,000, can we obligate that towards future capital?
not future capital. We have payments built into the capital plan for 26, 27 that we would say, Bob, do not put this in your budget because we're going to pay for it out of the undesignated fund.
That's fine. I just want to see how it
Well,
logistically is done.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
But
There
wait,
is-
we can't truncate Lou because Lou's still thinking about paying off the school.
No, that's the furthest thing in my mind. I'm looking at this maybe from a different perspective than you, Gary, but rather than, you know how I feel about paying down leases. Rather than do something like that, we do have a number of items that the town has to deal with in the not too distant future that's going to cost a lot of money. One thing that comes to mind is the new fuel station that we have at the Public Works area. We have to replace that in the next 3 years.
2030.
Right. So that's got to get done.
We were putting $50,000 away in capital each year. We put 100,000 away so far.
Right. And to me, instead of paying down debt, that's really not paying down debt. As an example,
Yeah.
something like that, where we know we have to spend the money, we have funds available, we should, in my mind, we should accelerate that capital expenditure to now and do the work now. We've got the funds, we just do the
To
work
look at
now.
all
Do
of
we-
those
yeah,
types of
do we-
projects.
Do we have a number on that project, what it would cost to do that?
Yeah, the estimate was around 300,000, but that was the estimate that was given to us in 2024, was 6 years we saved 50,000 a year for 6 years. So in 2030, we'd have the majority of money for it.
Or we could just do the project now.
We have
Right.
100,000 put away for it, so we would need just the balance.
If we wait until
I-
4
I-
years.
I don't think we should get wound around the axle on how Bob appropriates it. We should come up with a number, say, Bob, come back to us.
Well,
with
no,
what
you're,
you-"
but you're
actually-
advocating paying down
actually,
leases.
No, I'm advocating, we're gonna knock the number 600,000. Bob, put this against your capital plan. Come back to us and show us how you feel this is the best way to do it.
Because I do care about how he burns it though, because if he burns it all in 1 year, then you're gonna have a jump in you will want to see the capital, you want to see that capital linear burn to be lower over multiple
The whole
years.
trajectory.
You
yeah.
don't want to see it go from here down and then come right back up. You want it to be, you want the overall lower of the next couple of years to be lower.
I'm saying, let's let Bob and the selectmen come back to us with
So
how
why
they see.
don't I give you a copy or send you a copy of the 5-year capital plan, so you'll know what potentially the capital is for next year. In that, there's payments for trucks and ambulance, right? So there's money set aside for that fuel tank thing that you talked
Mhm.
about. There's money set aside for reval. Look at that capital plan, the 5-year capital plan, and you can decide as you look at that, what do we want to lose for next year and the year after?
Yeah, because I would take it over a 3-year or 2 or 3-year term because you want to lower it, but then you want to lower it gradual, so you're not creating a big dip and then having it come right back up.
And
I
then-
honestly don't have a problem with having dips because it's a necessary expenditure and something that won't be built into the budget to continue to happen year after year. So if there is a spike for some reason, I'm okay with that.
I don't want to see a
It's-
spike go down and then come right back up to where it was.
But actually, that would just mean that we don't have any capital expenditures for the year. So that's a good thing.
But when we set the mill rate, it won't be a good thing because you're gonna have to bring it back up.
Or do you slide something else in it? You just backfill.
You
Or
just, right,
backfill it.
yeah. I mean, this,
I mean, look, expenses aren't gonna go away, right? I mean,
True.
let's be realistic.
But Bob, this is-
Everything is aging here, so.
this is what I was getting at before when I said, is that the Board of Selectmen's job to figure out? And I thought you said no, so.
Only because it's the Board of Finance should be directing how we spend. I mean, the Board of Finance, Selectmen come up with projects. The Board of Finance says, is this a project that we want to spend town money on? So I think the best thing would be to look at the 5-year capital plan and the 20-year plan. It's in our budget calendar, but it's a ways off. But if you're going to look at it sooner instead of later, look at the 5-year plan and the 120/30-year plan. The idea is if you pay off truck payments now, the idea is we don't say, okay, let's move a truck up. No, leave everything where it is. It's a 20 and a 30-year plan. So if we can get a 2-year capital holiday by not having to pay for trucks because we pay them off ahead of time, that's 2 years of capital that we don't have 750,000. Maybe we have 200,000 in capital that year. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with both of you.
Yeah.
Rather than just do 1 year, you can do it over 2 years if you want to. There's no
Okay.
trucks planned for the next 2
So,
years.
but I guess a little bit of what I'm thinking is I would think it'd be more appropriate though for us to get some guidance if there's things that have been considered but just forgotten about because of the lack of money. Well, if you look, if there's things out there that we said, this would be a really good thing to do, but I don't see it in our budget, should we be considering those kinds of things?
I can say that right now, there's nothing on the table that the Board of Selectmen are looking at saying, gee, I wish I had more money, we would do this. We operate a lot on need to haves and not nice to haves. And we haven't done many nice to haves in the last 4 years, which is why our budget stayed fairly flat. So I think that we want to continue with that philosophy. So I'd rather see us, instead of saying we have extra money, let's go buy something. We have extra money, let's pay for something that we're already committed to. So whether you pay off the ambulance for the next 4 years, or we pay off 2 trucks for the next 2 years, I'd love to have capital not be 750,000 in the next 2 years. It may be down to 200
I
or
think,
300,000.
maybe a move forward is, we know that we can, let's agree on a number. And you have to agree that everyone wants to go to 15%. And then we have to agree on what's your starting number. Is it the 4.8 or the 4.2? And then that will tell you how much money you have. Say it's 600,000 if we use the 4.2, right? And then Bob sends out the capital plan and the 5-year capital plan to us, and then, we can give guidance, but ultimately it is going to be up to them as how to do it.
I mean, each one of you might have a different idea of what you want to pay off now, but at least if you had the plan in front of you, you'd have an idea.
Yeah, we have to, that discussion, just let's come up with a number.
You want a number in percentage or how much we're gonna spend? Ballpark.
My suggestion is, if you're likely to earmark the 779 for projects this year, and we're gonna de-obligate the 200,000, we use the 4.236 number. And to get down to the 15%, it's the 600, it's 605, but use the 600 number.
And if we did that, the worst that happens is next year, we've got a little bit of the same problem again.
I think we take a bigger bite now and do the difficult decision. Okay, then we do the easy
The
decision.
Board of Selectmen just
And I
told,
do- I-
just told us not to take the whole 779. I don't know why we would take the 779. So
Yeah.
I don't know why we're using the 42 number.
Right, he said he's planning on not using the 779 this year, so why would we continue to carry it? But I want to get
That's
back,
what I did.
I just need to rebut on that. Let's not limit it to what's on the capital plan, what are the things we're not doing. We should not use this as a reason to go shopping for things that aren't currently.
That's not what I said. What I meant was, there are things that are out there that we've been holding off on. And maybe this is the
You're saying
time
pay
to
them early.
push them forward.
If they're in the capital plan, okay, sort of. But
That-
I don't want to just,
To me, that makes much more sense than doing other things that have been on the
Bob out of
table.
his seat again.
There's only, this is feeling, actually, my back feels good getting up and down. There's only 2 things right now we're saving for. There used to be 3. We were saving for the rescue truck, but when we changed that, we actually are buying a rescue truck. So we're saving right now for the 6-year saving for the 2030 replacement of the tanks. They have to come out of the ground and go above ground,
Mhm.
$300,000 roughly.
It'll be
And we're
fine.
saving to a number that we have no idea what it is for the closing of the bulky waste on there.
Mhm.
Could be 2045. We don't know when. We don't know if it's going to be $1 million or $3 million. So we're saving a little bit of money each year just to soften that blow when it happens. But since we put in the bulky waste fees, we've gained extra years in the life of the bulky waste pile, which is a nice side effect of putting in the bulky waste fees. So those are the only 2 things we're really saving for right now. We're not saving for any trucks. We're not saving for anything else, but those 2 things. The bulky waste pile would make no sense because we don't know what that's going to be. And we're not going to close it anytime soon. But
Right.
the tank does make sense because that's a
We have to do it.
$300,000 number. It's going to come to we can stop putting $50,000 away every year for the next 4 years if we just do the tank thing now.
Right.
Yeah, it's
So
not gonna
so
get
that's an
cheaper.
option.
And
It's
it's
not
but-
gonna get, it's not gonna get any cheaper either.
No,
No,
it's probably gonna
and
get
if
more
the tank
expensive.
becomes a leak in it, then it has to be done now. Right. So why not just do it? But maybe it wasn't identified in the capital plan, but aren't we looking at doing some work on the old town hall? I'm
So
sorry.
this is,
No, no, no,
this is
no, no.
off script now.
No,
think
it
what I
isn't.
need is
No,
If it's not
not.
on the capital plan, we shouldn't be talking
No,
about it.
what
You
num-
said if it's not on the capital plan.
Well,
hold on, let
it's
me
how
answer
you
that
define
question.
capital. I think it ought to be, or
So
should it,
in
or it
the
is.
capital, so
Hold
the
on now.
reoccurring capital, where we put money in every year
Right.
for town building maintenance. There's 70.
Maintenance
town
is not
building-
capital.
No, but the town building maintenance line is in our capital. In the
Yes.
world, your world, it's not, but in the
has
municipal
to
world,
be.
it is. So we put money away for town building maintenance.
Right.
There's 70 some odd $1,000 in that line.
Mhm.
We're planning on getting town hall painted and replacing the rail behind town hall because it's all rotted and falling apart.
Right.
So let's say that's $50,000, okay?
Okay.
That comes out of capital, which you guys are done with. It's already approved. It's already in the budget. That comes out of capital, or the non-occurring capital.
Mhm. But
You're
I
gonna
understood,
You're gonna allow capitalizing paint.
no, construction of a new deck system in the back of the building.
And painting the building.
Well, that's part of it, but but as
There's
I
money-
understood it,
but
we
there's
were
money
going to
already
hold off
allocated-
on
There's money
that.
allocated for that, so I don't have to ask for money for that. It's already allocated. You know what I'm saying? It's already in the, it's already budgeted and passed by the
But I thought you
taxpayer.
would put the deck and the railings off for another year. You were going to paint and then do the decking,
But we
a capital
decided,
expenditure.
we
down the
decided that
road.
didn't make sense, because if there's someone doing that work now, I just
Right.
get it done.
Oh,
I have a
okay.
newly painted building.
I
with
agree.
rotting rails.
I agree with that. That's what I thought we should do.
But so that money, I don't have to come to you and
For-
ask you for money to do that project. There's enough there to
'Cause
do
it's
it
there.
now. That's all.
I would strongly recommend that you figure out why it's blowing the paint off before we just throw more paint on it. It's not just the quality of the paint.
So that would be part of the RFP. There might be lead in there too, which is, that's why I don't know what the price is gonna be.
Crap you're putting on, it's peeling right off. Are we ready or not? Can we word a motion that we go to the 4.2% and come back with recommendations from the Board of Selectmen and our board and whoever else is included in our capitals as how we spend that?
Can we? So this is just a motion on how to spend.
Motion on just given our amount that we're gonna try and play with, not
I don't
necessarily
think
where
we
we're gonna put it.
can- I don't think we can work with that yet until we have the Board of Ed shored up.
Because we're going on what Bob said. We're not counting on anything from the Board
I'm
of
gonna
Ed.
tell you this right now, the Board of Ed, they have their own account.
They have their own account and
They have their own
probably,
account.
But
There's
what
nothing
if-
coming
Money is
back.
Strictly for Bob.
and Bob's confident of what he's got in there right now.
I don't foresee the Board of Ed when they come back with their numbers adding anything to the undesignated fund. They have a risk account that takes up the 2% of.
Did we want to do 4.2 or didn't we say $600,000?
That's why I asked about the percentage number. Mike wanted to go with either 2.4 or 4.2, which had two different numbers. I'm saying let's take the 4.2 right now. Use that for a number to cut our capital and payments down.
So the choice is you either include the potential steep grants and the de-obligation number, which is the 4.2. And then to get to 15%, we take out 600,000. Option
No.
two,
No, it's the other way around.
no,
Take-
if you use the 4.8 number, which is, you don't count the de-obligations, you don't count the potential steep grants, the number then is the number in the account right now, which is 4.815. And to get to 15%, you got to take out $1.184 million.
That's closer to the number that I'm looking at. If I got them reversed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's two options.
The option I'm looking at that I would like to try and get going is not use the $700,000 or the 500,000. 700 plus 2, plus taking 2 away from it's 500,000.
Correct,
Correct.
579. Right.
No.
So you want, Carl, to be clear,
Yep.
the current estimated balance of the undesignated fund is $4.8 million,
Plus 200,000.
plus 200,000 that we're gonna deobligate from the irrigation, which is
Yep.
$5.0 million. Can we all agree that it's 5.0
Well,
million?
if you're not going to count potential steep grants, why would you count the deobligation that hasn't happened yet?
True. Okay, we don't have to do that. That'll be a
Just use,
bonus
there's
later.
two numbers, 4.8 or 4.2.
Use the number that doesn't include the,
In my, I understand the arguments and I have a lot of faith in you guys. We've done great for a lot of years. But just understand, we're gonna be well below 15% if those steep grants happen.
We already know we're not gonna use the steep grant for the irrigation, because we went another way. And in Troy's report that we looked at earlier, there's all kinds of stuff that was bought out of their ERISA account to support the tripod irrigation system. So that 228 is coming back. They just haven't done it yet. We should be taking advantage of that. And we've got the Board of Selectmen saying they're not gonna ask for the 779 in this budget cycle. So we shouldn't be counting for that either. Okay, all right, fair enough. So we need to stop holding the taxpayers' money for what we feel might happen. If we're above our process, we should give it back to the taxpayers in some way.
It's right there. It's 1.1. If you want to add 200,000 to it, it's 1.3. It's the line you're looking for, amount to spend to bring us to 15%, ignoring any grant earmarks. You have to take out 1.84, to get to 15%. If we're using the number that we have in the undesignated fund now, that is 4,815,128.7. To get to the 15%, you'd have to remove 1,184,117.85. That takes us to 3,631,010.85. That's in the undesignated fund sheet that Susan did. 1.184. That takes not into account the deobligation of 200 and doesn't take into account spending 779.
all right, let's reword this then. Motion to take 1.1 million out of the undesignated fund to be spent on capital or projects that we needed to be determined at the next couple meetings. That worded wrong or very close? Word it? Reword it.
Little vague,
Huh?
a little vague.
Using 1.1.
Take 1.1 out, leave the rest there. Gives us an even number to play with.
To be spent on what?
Allow the selectmen to come back to see how they would apply it to the capital plan to forego future payments. that fair?
I was thinking.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not, I guess I'm. It can't hurt because we just let them come in and tell us that number, whether or not we decide to go to that number we'll save that for a final vote after we see what the money might be applied to.
Right.
One thing that does come to mind
Say
is
up to 1.1
1.1 million.
So
We-
let's get Amy the word she needs. 1.1 to be applied against the existing capital plan to avoid future payments.
No.
Okay?
That's, I think what I heard was that's our target, and we're asking the Board of Selectmen to come back with their capital budget items to absorb those funds.
Right, that's what I said.
Well,
1.1 to be used against the existing capital plan
Up to 1.1.
up to
up to 1.1 million.
to avoid future
Yeah.
payments.
So
Not.
How we-
The reason I word it that way is because now is not the time to see new additions to the capital plan.
I would, yeah. It's 5 percentage points down with lowering our unallocated 5 percentage points, which turns into about 20% reduction in our unallocated. How that might be viewed by our bond holders or future need to borrow, I think it'll depend on what we do with the money. I mean, that's a big drop in one fell swoop.
But roughly, we're 10% over. So it's actually,
10% over a arbitrary number.
no,
So-
I'm just saying, before we get gigged for reducing 20%, our policy says we're 10% over. So we're only really reducing 10% to stay with the policy.
That's real funny numbers.
Yeah, I know.
Those are really funny numbers.
So we would be down to roughly 13% if we took 1.1 million and went down to $3.13 million.
Once everything's out.
Okay, look,
If,
Just
if
my
we
take on
took
this.
it all, if
If
the
this- my take on this-
200 went back, the 779 was spent and we took the 1.1 out,
we
we would be down to 3.1, 13%.
question, I don't know, I haven't been around that long. Have we ever done this before?
No, we've never been over.
Okay, so, I mean, we are looking to take money that we think is there, might be there, I would really believe it is, but we don't know if it is. And what I'm suggesting is, I don't know how we got off the 600,000 I thought we had agreed on earlier, that, maybe that's a good middle of the road, let's try this. This is something that has long-term implications for the town.
I said during budget, at the end of the budget, when we set the mill rate, we should have just brought it to 17 and just called it a day. Because that was the time to go do it. We were setting the mill rate, we could have brought it to 17 and be done with it. Hindsight's 20/20, and then, everything goes away, but.
I mean,
There were a couple late things that happened.
Of course
after
there
that
is. It's
discussion.
not
So-
funny,
so
there's always late.
While that
things.
snapshot in time, you could have been a hero.
I could have.
There, we still.
We
would
were
be
already
listening.
using the undesignated fund to plug a budget cap to try to anticipating lowering it to 17 is what I thought we were doing in the first place. And yes, things have changed where money hasn't come out that it was supposed to come out, and
Yeah.
we're in a good spot again. I
think
mean,
We're in a great spot.
I understand fully the argument from Winona and Gary and Carl about using the present figure versus, an earmark that may or may not happen. I get that. I also get Lou's point that, using the 4.2 number, take 600,000 to earmark for capital is a more conservative approach. Not necessarily taxpayer money conservative, but conservative, making sure that we're still covering ourselves.
What we could also do is we could go and bring it down to 17 as guidance. to our policy. And then later on, at a later date, we can say, hey, we got even more money as money starts flowing back in or going the other way, and we can always readjust it at a later date. Plan to go to 17 and then adjust at a later date if we want to go down. Let's just say we go even higher throughout the year.
Winona, what's that number? Go do subtraction of
So, okay,
four,
so
go
take the
four.
4236 to
No,
17.
No, take the 4815128.7
Mhm, mhm. To 17.
and reduce that by 4,115,145.63. What's that number?
I'm just thinking of this, that might be a nice middle ground where we
It could be, Dan.
where we're taking a chunk, we're getting the ball rolling. We're doing what we're supposed to be, like what Gary wanted. Summer is still here, Gary. And not for long. And
Do you see where I'm getting those?
Yeah, that's where I thought we were going with the 600.
I think it satisfies
Well, this is,
everything.
it's satisfied, it's taking the present number of 4.8.
And it's,
Let's not worry about what's gonna come back, what potentially is gonna go out. You have what we have. To get it to 17%, you're taking about 700,000 and change.
So the so if we believe that the current balance is 4.8 to get to the 17, that's a difference of 699. But if,
Did you take the 4,815,128.70 and minus 4,115,145.63?
correct, 699, 983, 7 cents.
Okay.
But I didn't think we were using that number. I thought we were using a 423,006,707.96, right? I thought everybody loved that number.
Well, that's if you take into earmarks into consideration.
Yeah, do you want to know what that is? If you do that and then do 17? You
No,
want to know that too, don't you?
well, you could.
it's
Yeah.
conservative
I
number.
think we should, right? So
That's $100,000.
Yeah, it's
No.
pocket change.
So that, I agree with you. We should not use that 4.2 when we're
$120,000.
deciding where to go.
But $120,000.
Yeah.
I just think that it's a nice conservative kind of coasting into it.
It's like 700, like 699, you said?
The first number, 4,815,128.70 minus $4,115,145.63 is $699,983.07.
So 700,000.
We can tell them, go reduce your capital budget, bring back a plan for $700,000.
I like that.
And then at a later date, we can always adjust it to go even further down to 15.
And come up with a plan to do it again when the reval comes.
Because
Because that's where we're gonna do it again
Because-
anyway.
Because Gary, here's the thing. We can get the ball rolling, we can see what the picture is, and then when the reeval, when the earth starts shaking and we start having issues with the reeval, we're in budget season, we'll start knowing what firm numbers are gonna be. And then we can't do any of this stuff until we set the mill rate later on.
Let's just watch what the budget asks are when we go into budget
course.
season with 17% and the undesignated fund, because everyone's gonna say, well, you're gonna be over, so we might as well take some of that. One of the reasons I want to take the harder fight now is to avoid all those discussions that we had to endure the last budget season.
And I've been here for 6 years, and guess what? We've been having those same discussions.
If it ain't
over
there, we can't ask for it.
And guess what? We're gonna end up having it. So I would make a motion to send to the Board of Finance.
Yeah, Carl, are you gonna, okay?
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to direct the Board of Selectmen to come up with a plan to reduce their capital budget to reduce it by $700,000.
Wait a minute, not to reduce the capital budget, but to find,
Apply it to the present 5-year capital plan.
Okay, yeah, 'cause we-
Okay,
Up
Right.
to.
to reduce
I'm not sure on the
the
right
overall.
wording.
That's what they have to apply it to.
Yes, you can.
There's always a video.
No, well, we don't know, what are we saying?
Do you want it to word it and I'll second it?
Oh,
I need a properly worded motion.
We need less reverb.
It's not me.
How do you want to word it? Motion direct the board of selectmen to reduce the 5-year. We're getting wrapped around the words and everything. We're telling, they can't spend the money out of that, so they can go in there and they can reduce it as much as they want. We'll say no. Identify a plan to reduce the 5-year capital budget by $750,000. Us, you're here. No, because have you seen what we're doing right now? It'll be even worse. You only got. I just say, just tell them $700,000 and let them apply it to how they want to. apply
The
it.
Board of Selectmen owns the capital budget though, correct?
Yes.
We have to approve it, but
Yeah,
you
so
own the
that's what I'm
design
saying.
and the construction of it. So I do think that we should give you autonomy to create
That's
your
why I'm
5-year
sa-
capital
That's what I'm saying.
plan.
I'm trying
So
to say, give you $700,000 and come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
welcome.
I think that we should allow you
take
to do
advantage of
that.
it. Yeah,
Okay, so Dan, I think that it's something around the lines of that we're proposing that the Board of Selectmen consider revising their capital plan to reduce their spend up to 700,000.
Yeah.
Spread over over,
well, you want it over 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year?
but that's up to them.
It's up to them. They have
That's
to-
their spend.
They're gonna come back to us with a plan. We can say yay or nay.
So the ask is that the Board of Finance requests that the Board of Selectmen review and adjust their capital plan
Okay.
with an
I'm
adjustment
done.
of up to 700,000.
You guys want to spend the money and everything, but you want to fight over the motion. No, I'm not.
Mike's writing legalese.
Lou, the percentage will go down because once the money's allocated for me to use it, 700,000, that percentage will go down, even if I spread it out over so much next year and so much the year after. So I just like to say that truck's paid in full, that ambulance is paid, whatever we do, whatever the board does. Once it's spent, it's spent. So we just take it right off capital for the next year or two.
Yeah.
Now you're getting a capital plan from us that's 200,000 rather than 700,000.
Well, I'm trying to empower you to make the right decisions and come up with a plan to bring it back to us.
I get it. And since you let me do that, me and the board of.
Oh, no, they
Selectmen
don't
will
want
do it.
me to like, I'm trying to make a motion the last 5 minutes and everybody's. been
So it
running
may
this-
not fit into my next agenda, which is the 15th. 16th, can I get you the meeting after that? Well, you do, because I know you want to get this behind you, so.
Gary's got the lunar calendar.
Mike, this is what I come up with. Per our undesignated fund policy, the Board of Finance directs the Board of Selectmen to obligate $700,000 to reduce the present balance of the fund from 19.89% to 17%, be earmarked for the use towards the present 5-year capital plan.
Are you giving me a dollar figure or working on percentages?
It's whatever that works out to 17%. It's gonna be $699.
So then I have to decide, are we not doing appropriation? Are we putting 200,000 back
Yeah,
in?
but-
You're making me come up with a number that way.
Yeah, by using the percentage instead of the dollar amount, you're forcing them to figure out, are you gonna use it based off of?
Which
the
scenario
grants
and
or
doesn't
which
fund do we-
It's
scenario
the
it
present,
is?
the present balance.
That's why I said $700,000, 600,000, whatever the dollar amount is, Lou. If we came up with a dollar amount and say, guys, go come up with a plan to come back with us to reduce the capital, done. It said the percentage.
Dan, make it a not to exceed number because
Not
it's
to
not going to be
exceed.
exactly that number.
Direct.
I just want to like memorialize, we're doing what we need to do under our
I don't care
policy.
about- I don't care about memorializing it. I care about just reducing the capital budget.
So, so Mike, to revise your statement, can we say an amount not to exceed 700,000 in accordance with our policy, which states 17%?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You're seated, so you might as well make it.
Oh, I need that. Okay, so what did we say? What are we saying? Poor Amy. The Board of Finance directs the Board of Selectmen to
I said obligate
obligate,
up to $700,000.
you good? Hold on, she's erasing.
To be used towards the present 5-year capital plan.
What do you want?
In accordance with our policy. In accordance with our undesignated fund policy.
Restate the whole motion in one sentence,
Okay.
complete sentence, so that I can please write it down appropriately.
Don't write anything down until we come up with it. The Board of Finance directs the Board of Selectmen to obligate up to $700,000 to be used towards the present 5-year capital plan per our undesignated fund policy.
Do you want me to keep the percentages in to double that or no? Keep it out.
So I'll say it again, the Board of Finance directs the Board of Selectmen to obligate up to $700,000 to be earmarked for use towards the present 5-year capital plan in accordance with our undesignated fund policy. That sound okay? Everyone?
Thank you. No, whose motion is this?
No, I'm asking.
It was from Dan. All right, so we had a motion from Carl. That motion is kaput. All right. Then we had a motion from Dan.
Yeah.
We're still working on the motion from Dan. Mike shored up that motion. And is that the motion we're voting?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. I'm fine with it.
Any further discussion?
It should be more. I think we're taking a baby step here and I think why wouldn't we just do more?
Sometimes that first step gets you in the right direction. I'd hate to be to be in a position 2 years from now to say our undesignated fund now is getting lower and now we have to do something to increase it. This way there's no chance of that happening. So this is as Mike said, it's a conservative approach. And I tend to be conservative when it comes to money.
we've been talking about this for a year. A year, we knew this was coming. And the fact that we're taking this baby approach, sorry, this small approach in the right direction, I think is bad.
Well, Gary, it does bring us within policy now. As much as you don't want to, it brings us within policy. At this time, we can't do anything until later on. And we could just sit here when everybody asks, well, you got extra money, you got extra money, we got extra money. We put our big boy pants on and we just tell them, sorry, this is what we're gonna do later on. We have control over that.
How many presentations did we have to sit through last year?
Every year.
No, not individual. I mean, think about all the different facets that said, well, all hinting about the extra money in this account. And we spent an exorbitant amount of time defending this. And we know this is a baby step in the right direction. It brings us within policy, we know it's gonna reload with a reval year. I think we're not doing enough.
And guess what? In February or March, we can have the same discussion and we can say, you know what, let's reduce this even more.
I think if the Board of Selectmen de-obligate that $200,000, we're gonna come back and have that conversation and throw that, do the same thing when it happens.
We can point to this meeting if you want, on September 3rd.
In context, for the first time we've ever done this, $700,000 instead of 1.1 million. That's $400,000.
Correct.
200 of which is something we're looking at to adjust. I don't consider that a baby step. That's a lot of money. We're coming down right to where we said we should be. Our policy for the last 5 years, 4 years,
Yeah, 5 years.
says, okay,
Longer than that.
17% is the number we want to hold to.
No, 8
No.
to 17.
8 to 17 is
In fact,
the
8.5.
cap.
Okay, 8.5 to 17.
We're over the cap. We are by our policy bringing it back to the cap. I don't think, I
At
don't know
this
how you
time,
can, at this time. And we may have to do it again to bring it back to that cap number again.
We have a self-imposed, like you said, Gary, we have a self-imposed, we are, by the end of summer, we were to have this reined in. I think we got it reined in. We are at the number where we should be at this time. Once that $200,000 or whatever money breaks the right way, we have this discussion. We've already done it. Guess what? We say, hey, $200,000 come in. You guys ready to spend it? Okay, good. And we just send it up to a vote. Bob, we direct Bob, go reduce it by another $200,000. So. All right, there you go.
By a show of hands, all those in favor, say aye. Aye.
She's seated with Sarah, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Oh.
Before we vote on this, Winona is seated, I apologize. She was supposed to be seated at the beginning, so we haven't taken any affirmative votes until now. She is seated. Let me take that vote again. All those in favor, say aye, show of hands.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Bob, do me a favor, de-obligate that money next month.
Now Amy gets to go on vacation now.
So Bob, should we put you on the agenda for the 17th or maybe the first weekend of October to talk about the 5-year capital plan? Well, when we start to have, we can start talking about, now that we have this money, what,
So I'll
What are we
tell you what,
looking
if we've got a pretty hefty agenda on the 16th, the Board of Selectmen do. If I can fit it in there, I will, but this is going to be something we need to discuss. So I'd like to discuss it in my first meeting in October. And then I can bring it to you. Usually we meet, you meet the day after us.
yeah,
I can bring it to you the next day. So I'm not sure what the date is for the first Tuesday and Wednesday in October.
I have it. Hold on 1 second.
But I can, if we could do it on that day, which would be probably a less full agenda.
It's the first, we're on the first. of
You guys are on the
October.
first?
Mhm.
Shoot, that means I'm probably not on until the 8th then, right? Or 7th.
Well, we can do it on the 15th. The 15th, the library also wants to be on our agenda that day,
On which day is that? October?
October
15th?
15th.
So let me, yes, I'll come to one of your next couple of meetings and I'll send you the 5-year plan as is right now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the Board of Selectmen will start working on it. I'll just have them come up with what ideas they'd like to see over the next 2.
Yeah, that'd be great, because we can make a discussion about the capital plan for the 17th and just kind of, have it in front of us to look at it and. Okay, nice job, everyone.
And thank you. I've never come to one of your meetings and got handed $700,000 before. So
All right, the next item is review draft budget calendar. I put that on there. I'm not gonna be able to be there on Monday, Bob, I'm sorry. That'd be great.
So for those of you that do that, those who might be on different boards outside of us. So what I'm saying is, so March is always a great month for the company. And in the past, we've done this, we've demonstrated that you can't do this. But in the meantime, the Board of Ed is scrambling for Wednesdays because you guys meet on the same week. So I said, if I give the Board of Finance the first and third Wednesday and every Monday, Board of Ed, second, fourth Wednesday, no one is going to be on it. So they get to the third of the night, they get to the- Right now, you get all the Wednesdays and all.
That's not a bad idea.
We just had those scheduled Wednesdays and Mondays, we just scheduled the Wednesdays and Mondays, just in case we
Yeah, but the
didn't.
Mondays don't affect the Board of Education. The Wednesdays do, is what his point is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that,
I would say, I was in a fine meeting at the other place, because obviously we have so many people that show up.
and I'll do a better job of coordinating with Steph this year on our meeting schedule.
It won't be Stephanie.
It won't be Stephanie,
Or Steph's on that. Whoever,
TBD.
TBD.
I do like that you color coded it, Bob, good job.
All right, any further discussion on the budget calendar? Well, you can do it Monday. I just wanted to kind of see it first.
So the big question is, do I write it on my Stephanie's calendar in pen or in pencil?
Imagination.
Correct. Correct. All right, review of minutes.
I owe minutes from, I don't know, May, maybe? I have to look. I owe
If
minutes.
anybody took minutes from me, please check with Antoinette.
I owe
There's a
minutes.
June 18th meeting. June 18th and then May.
May, seriously, there's,
I don't know. I'm going by you.
no, I think I owe June. You, it may be
The
Carl.
last meeting, who took minutes?
Oh, that might have been me.
No, we have minutes from 6/4/25. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Wait, you sent those?
That would be the beginning of June.
Okay. No, wait, July 22nd, you sent minutes? So, okay, I need to do minutes.
Yeah, it was July.
I make a
23rd.
motion to approve the June 4th, 2025 minutes as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so 501 with Winona abstaining. The tri-board meeting minutes. We did that, we approved those, the prior ones at the tri-board meeting, so I think maybe we'll table that until you want to do the minutes from the last tri-board meeting on Monday when you have the meeting? Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. We'll table those minutes until Monday.
I have a conflict.
I have a conflict.
So this is this coming Monday,
Yeah,
correct? At 6. Yeah, no,
I'll probably be there.
I'll handle it.
Yeah, represent.
And then there's one more minute. Yes. Well, I'm not connected on Wi-Fi here.
Was a motion made to approve these ones? I make a motion to approve the July 16th minutes.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yeah, you were on it.
You were there.
You were there.
You were there.
I was
Yeah.
definitely there.
No, Amy was
No.
seated for Carl.
Oh, you
Oh.
weren't there. That's right.
Yeah,
Carl was
so-
not there.
501 again.
I was definitely there.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that was the hot night. Okay, so
All right, we're good there. Well, let me send these to Bob.
Yeah, give us some context.
are we on public comments?
Yes.
May I ask a public comment from my seat? The reevaluation, there was a post today on Facebook about the reevaluation and the folks coming around for the reevaluation. It says to see the town website for more information. The town website states the same thing that's on the Facebook page. My question is, will these people be coming into our homes for the reevaluation? Bob, can you answer that?
This is not a full reeval year. This is the
Okay.
big one where they, It's
Okay.
drive by, see if the permits are closed and stuff like that.
Okay.
New additions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment? You got it?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All's in favor?
Aye.
All right, 8:44.